First contact and confusion. The sleek, silver hull of the Zoraxian scout ship glided silently through the inky blackness of space, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to the primitive sensors of the blue planet below. Commander Zaxlor, a seasoned veteran of countless reconnaissance missions, stood at the bridge, his four eyes blinking in astonishment as he surveyed the holographic display before him. "This can't be right," he muttered, his tentacles twitching with agitation. "Run the scan again, Scientist Kelmora." Kelmora, a slender Zoraxian with iridescent scales, nodded and input the commands into the ship's computer. The results flickered across the screen, unchanged from before. "The scans are accurate, Commander," Kelmora reported, her voice tinged with confusion. "The planet designated as Earth by its inhabitants has no discernible planetary defense system. No energy shields, no orbital weapons platforms, not even a rudimentary early warning network." Zaxlor's exoskeleton bristled with disbelief. In all his cycles of exploration, he had never encountered an inhabited world so seemingly defenseless. Every spacefaring race knew the importance of protecting their homeworld from cosmic threats and potential invaders. Yet here was a planet teeming with life, clearly possessing some level of technology, but utterly exposed to the dangers of the galaxy. "It must be a trick," Zaxlor declared, pacing the bridge. "Perhaps their defenses are simply beyond our ability to detect. Prepare a covered observation team. We'll need to investigate this anomaly up close." Within hours, a small team of Zoraxian specialists had been assembled and briefed on their mission. They would use personal cloaking devices to blend in among the planet's population, gathering data on the mysterious lack of defenses and searching for any hidden technologies that might explain this unprecedented situation. As the observation pod descended through Earth's atmosphere, Zaxlor felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. This mission could potentially reshape the Zoraxian Empire's understanding of galactic civilizations. If Earth truly was as vulnerable as it appeared, it could become an easy conquest. But if there was some secret defense system at play, it might revolutionize their own planetary protection strategies. The pod touched down in a region the humans called North America, specifically in a bustling city on the eastern coast. As Zaxlor and his team activated their cloaking devices and stepped out into the chaos of human civilization, they were immediately assaulted by a cacophony of sights, sounds, and smells unlike anything they had ever experienced. Vehicles belching noxious fumes zoomed by at alarming speeds, narrowly avoiding collisions. Humans of all shapes and sizes hurried along the sidewalks, many of them staring at small rectangular devices in their hands, oblivious to their surroundings. The air was thick with pollutants, yet the humans seemed unaffected, breathing it in without concern. "By the cosmic egg," whispered Kelmora, her sensory tendrils recoiling from the onslaught of stimuli. "How do they survive in such conditions?" Zaxlor was about to respond when a deafening explosion rocked the street. Debris rained down from a nearby building, and flames licked the sky. The Zoraxians instinctively ducked for cover, certain they were under attack. But to their amazement, most of the humans barely reacted. Some paused to take pictures with their devices, while others simply walked around the chaos, as if explosions were a normal part of their day. "Incredible," Zaxlor breathed, watching as human emergency responders arrived on the scene with surprising efficiency. "Their resilience is unlike anything I've ever seen. Perhaps this is their defense, an ability to withstand and recover from any disaster." As the day wore on, the Zoraxian team witnessed more inexplicable events. They saw humans emerge unscathed from vehicle collisions that should have been fatal. They observed individuals consuming substances that their scanners identified as highly toxic, yet suffering no ill effects. In one particularly baffling incident, they watched a human fall from a great height, only to stand up, dust themselves off, and continue on their way as if nothing had happened. "Commander," Kelmora said, her voice trembling slightly, "I'm beginning to think we've grossly underestimated these creatures. Their biology, their psychology. It's all so different from anything we've encountered before. Zaxlor nodded gravely. Indeed, but we need more data. We need to understand how they've achieved this level of durability. Is it genetic, technological, or is there some greater force at work here? As night fell over the city, the Zoraxian team regrouped in their cloaked pod to compare notes and plan their next move. The mysteries of Earth and its inhabitants had only deepened, and Zaxlor knew that unraveling them would be crucial not just for the Zoraxian Empire, but potentially for the balance of power in the entire galaxy. Little did they know, their presence had not gone entirely unnoticed. In a nondescript office building nearby, a lone human sat before a bank of monitors, a slight smile playing across their lips as they watched the invisible aliens fumble through their first day on Earth. "Welcome to our world," the human murmured, taking a sip of coffee. "You have no idea what you're in for." The unbreakable humans. As the first rays of sunlight crept over the horizon, Commander Zaxlor and his team of Zoraxian observers emerged from their cloaked pod, ready to continue their investigation into Earth's mysterious lack of conventional defenses. Their first day had left them with more questions than answers, and Zaxlor was determined to uncover the truth behind humanity's apparent invulnerability. "We'll split up today," Zaxlor instructed his team. "Kelmora, you and Vexter will focus on gathering biological data. Zondar, I want you to analyze their technology. I'll continue observing their social structures and behaviors." As the team dispersed, Zaxlor's attention was drawn to a human female exiting a nearby dwelling. There was something different about her, an aura of chaos that seemed to swirl around her very being. Intrigued, Zaxlor decided to follow her. The human, whose name he soon learned was Sarah, seemed to be a magnet for the impossible. As she walked down the street, a piano fell from a window above, missing her by mere inches. Sarah didn't even flinch, simply stepping over the wreckage and continuing on her way. Zaxlor watched in amazement as Sarah's day unfolded. She narrowly avoided being hit by a runaway bus, survived a gas explosion at her workplace, and even walked away unscathed from a building collapse. Each incident would have been fatal to any other species Zaxlor had encountered, yet Sarah treated them as mere inconveniences. Meanwhile, the rest of the team was making equally baffling discoveries. Kelmora reported that human biology seemed to adapt rapidly to toxins and injuries that should be lethal. Vexter observed humans routinely surviving extreme temperatures and environmental hazards. Zondar was perplexed by technology that worked despite violating several laws of physics as the Zoraxians understood them. As the day wore on, Zaxlor's frustration grew. There must be some explanation. He muttered to himself as he watched Sarah casually sidestep a falling streetlight. Some hidden defense system, some secret technology were missing. The commander was so focused on Sarah that he failed to notice the growing crowd of humans gathering nearby. It wasn't until he heard the panic in their voices that he realized something was wrong. A massive sinkhole had opened up in the middle of the street, swallowing cars and pulling down buildings. Chaos erupted as people fled the expanding chasm, all except Sarah, who seemed oblivious to the danger as she walked directly toward it. Zaxlor's instincts screamed at him to intervene, to save this fascinating human from certain doom. But before he could act, the unthinkable happened. As Sarah stepped onto a section of crumbling pavement, it gave way beneath her feet. She plummeted into the sinkhole, disappearing from view. "No!" Zaxlor cried out, momentarily forgetting his cloaking device. A few nearby humans turned, startled by the disembodied voice, but their attention quickly returned to the disaster unfolding before them. Zaxlor stood frozen, his mind reeling. He had just witnessed the death of the most resilient human he'd observed. It seemed that even Earth's mysterious protection had its limits. But then, defying all logic and expectation, a hand emerged from the edge of the sinkhole. Sarah pulled herself up, covered in dirt but otherwise unharmed. She casually brushed herself off, pulled out her phone to snap a selfie with the chaos behind her, then walked away as if falling into a massive sinkhole was just another Tuesday afternoon. Zaxlor's exoskeleton nearly cracked from the shock. This went beyond mere luck or resilience. There had to be something more at play, some force that bent reality itself to protect these humans. As emergency services arrived to deal with the sinkhole, Zaxlor regrouped with his team. Their reports only added to his bewilderment. "Commander," Kelmora said, her voice filled with awe, "I've analyzed hundreds of biological samples. These humans, their cellular structure can reorganize itself to adapt to almost any threat. It's as if their very DNA rewrites itself on the fly." Vexter chimed in. "And it's not just their bodies. I've seen them survive in environments that should be instantly lethal. Radiation, extreme pressure, even the vacuum of space in some of their crude orbital vehicles. It's like the laws of nature themselves bend to accommodate their survival." Zondar's report was equally astonishing. "Their technology, Commander. It's simultaneously primitive and impossible. I've seen devices working with energy sources that shouldn't exist, materials with properties that defy our understanding of physics. It's as if their sheer belief in their inventions forces them to function." Zaxlor absorbed this information, his mind racing. "So we're not dealing with a conventional planetary defense system," he mused. "We're up against something far more powerful and incomprehensible. The entire planet, perhaps the fabric of reality in this region of space, seems to be conspiring to ensure humanity's survival." As night fell once again, the Zoraxian team retreated to their pod, more uncertain than ever about their mission. They had come to study a defenseless world, only to find one protected by forces beyond their comprehension. In the pod, Zaxlor paced back and forth, his tentacles twitching with nervous energy. "We need to understand this," he declared. "If we can unravel the mystery of Earth's protection, it could revolutionize our entire approach to planetary defense." Little did Zaxlor know, his determination to solve the puzzle of Earth's invulnerability was about to lead him and his team into a confrontation with forces they could never have imagined. As they plotted their next move, the very planet beneath their feet seemed to stir, as if aware of their presence and intentions. The true nature of Earth's defense was about to reveal itself, and the Zoraxians would soon learn why so many alien civilizations had learned to give this unassuming blue planet a wide berth. The Earth itself fights back. Commander Zaxlor stood at the viewport of the cloaked Zoraxian pod, his four eyes fixed on the bustling city below. After 2 days of observing humanity's inexplicable ability to survive the impossible, he had made a decision that went against every protocol in the Zoraxian Exploratory Handbook. "We need to force their hand," he announced to his team. "If we can't detect their defense systems through observation alone, we'll have to provoke a response." Kelmora's scales shimmered with concern. "Commander, are you suggesting we intervene directly? That's strictly forbidden in covert operations." Zaxlor's tentacles twitched with determination. "These are unprecedented circumstances, Kelmora. We've witnessed things that defy explanation. For the sake of the Empire, we need answers." The team exchanged uneasy glances, but nodded in agreement. They had all seen enough to know that this mission had become far more than a routine reconnaissance. Under the cover of night, the Zoraxians deployed a series of small, undetectable devices throughout the city. These were designed to create controlled incidents, nothing lethal, but significant enough to potentially trigger whatever hidden defenses Earth might possess. As dawn broke, Zaxlor activated the first device. In the heart of the city's financial district, a sudden localized electromagnetic pulse disabled all electronic devices within a 2-block radius. The aliens watched, expecting panic, perhaps even the reveal of some advanced countermeasure. Instead, they witnessed something utterly baffling. As if by magic, most of the affected devices spontaneously restarted. Those that didn't were quickly replaced, with humans adapting to the situation with surprising speed and nonchalance. Within an hour, it was as if nothing had happened. Frustrated but undeterred, Zaxlor triggered the next device. This one was meant to create a sinkhole similar to the one Sarah had survived. But as the ground began to rumble and crack, something unexpected occurred. The very earth seemed to resist the artificial tremors. Cracks that should have widened sealed themselves. Buildings that should have toppled remained standing, defying the laws of physics. Impossible, Zondar whispered, his sensors going haywire. It's as if the planet itself is fighting back against our interference. Zaxlor's exoskeleton bristled with a mixture of awe and fear. Increase the power. We need to push harder. One by one, they activated their remaining devices, each designed to create a different type of crisis. But with each attempt, the results grew more bizarre and terrifying. At least for the Zoraxians. A device meant to create a massive gas leak instead caused flowers to bloom spontaneously across the city. An attempt to disrupt the local power grid led to a dazzling aurora borealis lighting up the sky, delighting the humans below. Even their most powerful device, capable of generating a localized tsunami, only resulted in a gentle wave that gave surfers the ride of their lives. As the day wore on, Zaxlor's confidence crumbled. It wasn't just that their attempts at provocation had failed. It was the growing sense that they were dealing with something far beyond their comprehension. "Commander," Kelmora said, her voice trembling, "I've been analyzing the data from our attempts. There's a pattern emerging, but it's unlike anything I've ever seen." On her holographic display, a complex web of energy signatures pulsed and swirled. It encompassed not just the city, but seemed to extend far beyond, perhaps covering the entire planet. "It's as if the Earth itself is a living entity," Kelmora explained. "Every action we take is met with a counter-reaction, not just from the humans, but from the very fabric of reality around them. It's changing, adapting, protecting them in ways we can barely perceive." Zaxlor stared at the display, his mind reeling. In all his years of exploration, he had never encountered anything like this. The implications were staggering. If Earth truly was sentient in some way, if it had evolved to protect its dominant species with such fantastical methods, then everything the Zoraxians thought they knew about planetary defense was wrong. As night fell once again, Zaxlor made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. "We're leaving," he announced to his stunned team. "This mission is over." "But Commander," Vex Tur protested, "we've barely scratched the surface. Surely the Empire will want us to continue our investigation." Zaxlor's eyes gleamed with a mixture of fear and respect. "No, Vex Tur, we're dealing with forces far beyond our understanding. Every moment we stay here, we risk provoking a response we may not survive. We'll return to the Empire and report our findings. Let the Council decide how to proceed." As the Zoraxian pod rose silently into the night sky, leaving Earth behind, Zaxlor couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, not by the humans, who remained blissfully unaware of their presence, but by something far more ancient and powerful. Just before they breached the atmosphere, a brilliant streak of light arced across the sky, a meteor burning up harmlessly in the upper atmosphere. But to Zaxlor's heightened senses, it felt like a warning shot, a final demonstration of Earth's power and its willingness to protect its own. "Set a course for home," Zaxlor ordered, his voice heavy with the weight of their discovery. "We have a report to make, and a galaxy to warn." As the Zoraxian ship disappeared into the depths of space, Earth continued its silent vigil. In a small apartment in the city below, Sarah smiled in her sleep, blissfully unaware of how close she and her fellow humans had come to a cosmic confrontation. The planet's greatest defense, it seemed, was the beautiful ignorance of the very beings it protected. Galactic Council deliberations. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with nervous energy. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted uneasily in their seats, their attention fixed on the solitary figure standing before them. Commander Zaxlor, still bearing the haunted look of one who had glimpsed forces beyond comprehension, cleared his throat and began his report. "Esteemed members of the Council," he began, his voice echoing through the vast hall. I stand before you today to present findings that may well reshape our understanding of the cosmos. For the next several hours, Zaxlor recounted his team's experiences on Earth in meticulous detail. He spoke of humans surviving impossible odds, of technology that defied known laws of physics, and of a planet that seemed to actively protect its inhabitants. As he talked, holographic displays showed footage from their mission, each image more bewildering than the last. The council chamber erupted into chaos as Zaxlor concluded his report. Delegates from warlike species demanded immediate action, seeing Earth as a potential threat. Others called for further study, fascinated by the scientific implications. A few even suggested that Earth be quarantined, deemed too dangerous to interact with. Amidst the uproar, a quiet voice cut through the noise. It belonged to Xyra, the ancient representative of the luminary, one of the oldest known species in the galaxy. Silence, Xyra commanded, her bioluminescent form pulsing with authority. The chamber immediately fell quiet, all eyes turning to the respected elder. What Commander Zaxlor has described, Xyra continued, her voice soft but filled with gravitas, is not without precedent. In the deepest archives of my people, there are legends of worlds like Earth, planets that develop a symbiotic relationship with their dominant species, evolving defenses that transcend our understanding of science. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Ira raised a tendril, calling for silence once more. These worlds are rare, perhaps one in a billion. We call them nexus planets, points in the cosmic web where the very fabric of reality bends to accommodate life. Earth, it seems, is one such world. The implications of Xyra's words settled heavily on the council. If Earth truly was a nexus planet, it changed everything. Such worlds were not to be trifled with, nor were they to be feared. They were to be respected, studied from afar, and perhaps, one day, welcomed as equals in the galactic community. Debate raged for days. Some council members, particularly those from younger, more aggressive species, argued that Earth's power could be harnessed, studied, and replicated. Others warned of the dangers of interfering with forces beyond their comprehension. In the end, it was again Xyra who proposed a path forward. We shall watch, and we shall wait, she declared. Earth and its humans are still young in cosmic terms. They are unaware of the wider galaxy, of their own unique nature. We will study them from afar, and when the time is right, when they have matured enough to understand their place in the universe, only then will we make contact. The council voted, and Xyra's proposal passed by a narrow margin. Earth would be designated a protected world, off-limits for direct interference, but subject to careful, distant observation. As the council session adjourned, Zaxlor found himself approached by Xyra. The luminary elder regarded him with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of eons. "You have done well, Commander," she said softly. "Your discovery may well shape the future of galactic relations for millennia to come." Zaxlor's tentacles twitched with a mixture of pride and lingering unease. "But what of the humans?" he asked. "Should they not be warned of the power they unknowingly possess, of the attention they have drawn?" Xyra's bioluminescence pulsed in what Zaxlor interpreted as a smile. "All in due time, Commander. Earth protects its own, in ways we are only beginning to understand. For now, let them continue in blissful ignorance. Their journey of discovery will be all the more profound for it." As Zaxlor watched Xyra glide away, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Somewhere out there, on a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star, humanity continued its chaotic, improbable existence, blissfully unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding around them. But for how long? Zaxlor wondered. How long before Earth and its humans realized their true nature, their place in the grand tapestry of the cosmos? And when that day came, how would the galaxy change? As he left the council chamber, Zaxlor made a private vow. He would dedicate the rest of his career to studying Earth from afar, preparing for the day when humanity would finally look up at the stars and realize they were not alone. and that they were far more extraordinary than they had ever imagined. Little did Zaxlor know, that day was approaching faster than anyone in the Galactic Council could have predicted. For on Earth, in a small, cluttered laboratory, a brilliant young scientist named Dr. Ilara Chen was about to make a discovery that would shatter humanity's understanding of their place in the universe. Humanity's surprise. Dr. Ilara Chen squinted at the readout on her quantum fluctuation detector, her brow furrowed in concentration. For weeks, she had been tracking an anomaly in the fabric of space-time around Earth, a phenomenon that defied every known law of physics. At first, she had dismissed it as an equipment malfunction, but as the data piled up, a stunning reality began to take shape. "It can't be," she muttered, running the calculations for the 100th time. But the numbers didn't lie. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was something more, something that existed in multiple dimensions, simultaneously, constantly shifting and adapting to protect the life that called it home. As Ilara prepared to publish her findings, little did she know that her discovery was about to catapult humanity onto the galactic stage far sooner than the Galactic Council had anticipated. Thousands of light years away, alarms blared through the corridors of the Council's monitoring station. Zaxlor, who had taken charge of the Earth Observation Project, rushed to the control room. "Report," he barked, his tentacles twitching nervously. A junior analyst, visibly shaken, pointed to the main screen. "Commander, we've detected a massive surge of interdimensional energy from Earth. It appears they've become aware of their planet's true nature." Zaxlor felt a mix of excitement and dread wash over him. This changed everything. The careful plans of the Galactic Council, the decades of planned observation, all of it was now obsolete. Humanity was about to step onto the cosmic stage, ready or not. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen's publication sent shockwaves through the scientific community. At first dismissed as fringe science, her theories quickly gained traction as other researchers began corroborating her findings. Within months, the truth had become undeniable. Earth was alive, aware, and had been protecting humanity since the dawn of their existence. As the implications of this discovery sank in, humanity's response was characteristically chaotic. Some panicked, fearing that their entire understanding of reality had been a lie. Others celebrated, seeing this as proof of humanity's special place in the universe. Governments scrambled to understand the geopolitical implications, while religious leaders sought to reconcile this new truth with their ancient texts. It was amidst this global upheaval that the Galactic Council made its decision. The time for hiding was over. Earth and its humans needed to be welcomed into the galactic community. On a crisp autumn morning, as humanity was still grappling with its new reality, the skies above every major city on Earth shimmered and parted. Massive ships of designs beyond human imagination appeared, hovering silently above the stunned populace. In New York, Tokyo, Lagos, and 100 other cities, the same message was broadcast simultaneously in every known human language. "People of Earth, you are not alone. We are representatives of the Galactic Council, a federation of spacefaring civilizations. We come in peace to welcome you to the cosmic community. Your world is unique, a nexus planet of immense importance to the fabric of the universe. We have been watching, waiting for the day you would discover your true nature. That day has come." The message went on to explain the nature of nexus planets, the long history of the Galactic Council's observation, and an invitation for Earth to join the galactic community. Humanity's response was true to form, a mixture of fear, excitement, and irreverent humor. Social media exploded with memes about Earth being the Florida of the galaxy. Late-night talk show hosts cracked jokes about finally understanding why humans seem to survive the impossible. And in true human fashion, T-shirts declaring, "My planet is alive, and all I got was this lousy shirt," were on sale within hours. As the initial shock wore off, world leaders gathered in an emergency United Nations session to formulate a response. After days of heated debate, a decision was reached. Humanity would accept the Galactic Council's invitation, but on their own terms. The response, broadcast back to the waiting alien ships, was quintessentially human. To the Galactic Council, thanks for watching over us, we suppose. We accept your invitation to join the galactic community, but we have a few conditions. First, we want to know everything you know about our planet. Second, we'd reserve the right to continue being our chaotic selves. It's worked pretty well for us so far. And third, we're going to need some time to process all this. How about we start with a galactic potluck? We'll bring the pizza. In the council chamber, Zaxlor couldn't help but chuckle as he translated the human response for his colleagues. It seems, he mused, that Earth's chaotic nature extends to its inhabitants' diplomacy as well. Hexira, the ancient luminary, pulsed with amusement. Perhaps, she said, that is precisely why they are worthy of a Nexus planet. Their adaptability, their humor in the face of the impossible. These are traits that will serve them well in the wider galaxy. As preparations began for humanity's formal introduction to the galactic community, Earth itself seemed to hum with renewed energy. The planet that had silently protected its children for millions of years could now do so openly, its bond with humanity growing stronger with each passing day. And so, on a bright summer day, as representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered to welcome Earth into the Galactic Council, humanity stepped into a new era. They carried with them their hopes, their fears, their irreverent humor, and the unshakable resilience that had defined them for millennia. The galaxy would never be the same, but then again, neither would humanity. As they took their place among the stars, they did so not just as inhabitants of Earth, but as partners with a living planet, ready to face whatever the cosmos might throw their way. After all, they reasoned, if they could handle Florida Man, they could handle anything the galaxy might dish out. The universe, it seemed, had better prepare itself. Humanity had arrived, and they were bringing pizza.